Well, as we mentioned at the top of our newscast, violence in this community out of control. 2 children shot just hours apart, continuing the violent trend that we have continued to see across the Houston area. Fox 26 is focused on saving our streets, and we're talking to local leaders about finding real solutions to this now growing problem. Joining us now live is Dr. Robert Sanborn, CEO of Children at Risk. And Bob, it's always good to see you. I want to ask you first, what do you make of the violence? We're seeing young people not just being perpetrators, but in some of these recent cases, innocent victims being shot.
Yeah, I think when it comes to kids and them being hurt, it needs to be a big red flag for us as a general public to understand that, short of a prescription for everyone of a big giant chill pill, we need to pay attention to what's going on, right? There's a lot of this collective trauma as we hopefully emerge from the pandemic. People's lives have been shaken up, and there's economic trauma, there's health trauma. And so for all of this, we know that adults are having a hard time. And the way that you usually treat that is through sound public policy. And so when we see the mayor and the county judge try to address it, that's good. But I think also we need to try to address this in our workplaces and in our school. This, in a sense, really, Jonathan, is a mental health problem, right? Dealing with trauma. And one of the things that we hate to admit to ourselves in Texas is that maybe we need help with mental health. But I think we don't want to act like babies around this. I think we need to look at what's going on and begin to address it.
Yeah, we heard County Judge Lynn Hidalgo introduce a new initiative today that really does focus on mental health. The mayor's plan also focuses in part on youth outreach. So what do you think specifically we need with these plans in detail?
I think give them time to work, right? I think that the idea of focusing on mental health, also the idea of more judges in the courts to deal with everything that's coming through there, I think is going to be real important, right? You can't necessarily legislate civility, which is what we're talking about, but you can certainly help it along with public policy. And I think this idea of focusing on mental health is important. We still are a state that really underfunds mental health, but we see it working in the schools, and that's an important thing. I think in the end, it's going to be getting back to a routine, right? After a hurricane, we always tell families, have a routine, get back to your routine. And I think after this trauma, that's what's really going to help. But after 2 years of this, it's not like you return to normalcy immediately. It's going to be a process. And I think mental health, behavioral health counseling are things that are going to help. But I think it's important that as parents, we begin to talk to our kids using this as a teachable moment around being kind. And when we see these acts, and we all see them all the time of people being mean and people sort of acting out, we need to use that as a moment to teach our kids, look, that's not the way you behave. We want to be kind to each other. And that's one of the ways that we're going to emerge from this. And I don't want to sound like a Pollyanna, but in a sense, these programs are important, but it's going to take all of us sort of being a part of this to make it work.
All right, Dr. Bob Sanborn. Bob, we always appreciate you. This is, of course, a conversation we'll continue to have. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.